Of things when you think about JavaScript. There's a lot. We're gonna explore the APIs that are available in the browser. But before doing that, I just want to make sure that we are on the same page about JavaScript. So, is there anyone that didn't steal some help with JavaScript? Wants a really quick overview with some like variables and all that functions? Just raise your hand. No problem at all. You're good.
I think
Really bit, yeah. So like the basics, like really basics. So I'm just gonna create a 0 folder here, JS. So on JavaScript, you have this concept of variables. So it's basically storing some data into an object or something like that. So you have a variable. I'm going to create a variable called cal. So I'm just doing this, okay? Var cal. And like we saw the console.log function before. So if we run that, what will be the result of this?
undefined.
Undefined. So this is one of the primitive values of JavaScript. You have undefined. So let's run that, see if...
You know, undefined versus null is an interesting distinction that JavaScript has.
Whoa.
Undefined basically means not declared, right? Or it's declared but not initialized. It's undefined. It's there, but there's nothing initialized.
Exactly.
And null means that it is initialized, but it's with a 0 or an empty or a...
Yeah. So just try to understand what's happening over here.
Who needs to do some jumping jacks? Wake up. You ran. That's great. You're ready to go.
I recommend everyone run.
Okay, so if we see the result of that, it's undefined. So this is one of the primitive values. Okay, so but I want my cal to be an object. So I can just define like this. So now my cal is an object. And if I console.log that, my cal is an object. Okay? Cool. So I have this empty object, doesn't have anything. So I can start adding stuff like cal.name. And I can just define some name for my cal. And now if I console.log that, what I'm going to have, it's an object that has a property called name, and the value is this one. And this is a string. So in other languages, you have this concept of char and string. They're different. So you have char is like just one character. In strings, you have a collection of characters. And with JavaScript, you only have strings. It doesn't matter if you have 1 or 2 or 10, doesn't matter. So this is another primitive type, string. And then we can have other types, like age. So my cal has 10. This is a number. So I'm not putting this because this is a string, this is a number. Cool. So type of cal.name, string, type of cal.age, that's a number, okay? You can also have other types like an array. So cal.brothers, and then I can have any kind of type inside of that. Can be John and Joanna. So now this is a list, and that's how we call it, array. So I have brothers, and I have 2 items on this list. Every array starts from 0 and then 1. So this is, you can put any other type here, 10, doesn't matter. Cool. What about sisters? My cow doesn't have any sister. So can you see the difference from undefined to sister? Like my cow doesn't have any sisters. So that's null, which is different from undefined. Undefined is like, I have this variable, but it's not defined. And null is like, no, this doesn't exist. What other types? We can check, like, if my cow.
So I think that's a good point right there, just to make sure that's clear. I mentioned this many a week ago, but it's a point that used to confuse me a little bit. And with variables, you have variable declarations, you have variable initial assignment, and then you have both those at the same time, which is initialization. So you can declare a variable, you can then assign a value to that variable, and if you do those at the same time, that's known as initialization. And so when you declare a variable, var cow, okay, it's declared, nothing's assigned. So if you log it, null, or sorry, undefined, right? It's like the variable's there, undefined. And but null would be the variable's there, but we've assigned it just null value to it. So it's had the assignment.
Yeah, what he's talking about is like I could create the cow equals new object. So this is like creating this object, and then I'm assigning something to that, like name equals something. This is assigning value. Or I have the syntax, which is the literal syntax, which I just like create and assign some value in just one step. So what else can we do here? We can have another primitive type is Boolean. So cow dot sad.
I was going to say
equals,
others, but.
yeah, like sad. Okay, my cow sad could be either true or false. And then we have functions.
Function is a primitive type, or
No, function, just, yeah, I don't know like the exact name that people tell what function is, but those are types that you can assign to variables. And these are other stuff that you have in the language. Okay, so function, you want to run some piece of code like multiple times, or you just want to make it more modular, or there are many reasons why you would want to have a function. So in this case, I want to have a function to ask if my cow is sad or not. Like, is sad. And then I have like statements. I can write a loop, I can write an if. So here I'm just gonna put like, if my cow is sad, cow.sad. And I can either put like equals true or equals false, or if I just put if cow.sad, this means true. So if cow.sad, I'm gonna return some value. Else return yay. Okay, so now let's run that function. So cow.sad, it's true, is sad. Oh, but if we change the value of sad to false and run that function again, yay. And you can have loops. So I just want to print, let me move it here. I just want to print all the cow's brothers. So I can write a loop, cow.brothers.length. And then I'll just print cow.brothers names. To do that, I have John, Joanna, and I'm like going for this loop. I could just put some value here or just the length, as we saw yesterday, the length of this array. So if I just put other names here, it's gonna print it there. Cool. So this is the basic thing that you're gonna need to know for those next exercises. How to do a loop. There are many ways that you can make a loop: while, for, reverse for each. There are many ways. There are many ways that you can define a function. But that's the many ways that you can create new variables, assign values. But this is the basic that you're gonna need to know for the next exercise. Okay? Did it help a little bit?